Ready, Set, Podcast. This is the Ready, Set Podcast. And here's your host, me, Joe Persinger. What's going on, everyone? How are we doing this week? Klaus, cut the music, bro. What's going on here? Thank you, sir. So how's our week going? Welcome to the podcast, everyone. It is Ready, Set, Podcast. Thanks for subscribing. If you're listening to on YouTube, don't forget to hit the little bell button if you want to get notifications sent to your phone. Or if you'd like to follow us on Mixcloud, Soundcloud. What's the other one I use? Spreaker. That would be it. All right, well, let's get to it here. Now, first, before we jump into everything here, I just want to know, how the hell is your week going? Mine's been going pretty good. But what the hell is going on in our country? I mean, we really live in a fucked up society right now. Okay, so we'll start with the media. Spreading one-sided news that is reporting on items that only narrates a specific agenda. We've already busted NBC being the political arm of the Democrat Party. We talked about that last week, about that tweet thread. CNN hosted a Democrat primary debate in 2016 and was feeding questions to their CNN contributor, Donna Brazile, who was also the DNC's vice chair back in 2016, who was also in turn giving these questions to then candidate Hillary Clinton. The media is a disaster right now, and they're fucking crazy if they think when this current administration leaves office that all of a sudden people are going to start buying back into their bullshit, if you will. Sorry if I'm screaming into the mic here. The real story here isn't the media treating the president or lying to the majority of the... Let me start that over. The real story here isn't how the media treats the president or doesn't treat the president, or how they treat the speakership or the Senate minority leadership, or how they don't. However you want to put it, wherever you may stand. The print section of the media is flatlining. Broadcast news in small and large markets altogether are flailing their arms to death. That's me flapping my arms if you can't see, and you can't because this is recorded. Come on, Joe, they knew that. You got cable news that's doing okay. They're really the only ones pulling any decent numbers, but who can you trust? The lady feeding Clinton questions a few years ago is now a contributor at Fox News. Wrap your head around that. Oh, my mic's all fucked up. And then we got the Democrats. Where to begin? How about trying to shape this Russian narrative, which feeds into the fake news media we were just talking about? But then they only fall right on their fades. They only fall right on their face and then turn this into a congressional fuckfest orgy of hearings based on accusation and lies. But if Nadler and Shifty Shift want to start their version of a Nixonian's enemy list, all I'm going to say there is that didn't end well for Mr. Richard Nixon. Or let's talk about the Speaker of the House letting progressives run rampant with dumbass ideas like nationalizing the energy industry and espousing anti-Semitic rhetoric and tropes. Are those the same thing? Tropes and rhetoric, tropes. Anyway, and really quickly here, the Senate leadership has decided instead of cutting deals on DACA, I'm going to readjust that. The Senate minority leadership has decided, that's the Democrats if you don't understand what I'm saying here, instead of cutting deals for DACA, for border, so in other words, instead of saying, hey, we got this crisis down south, we'll give you a deal on DACA for border security, or vice versa if you're a Republican. How about partnering on tax cuts and infrastructure? They think no deal is better than a deal. What? Huh? Jesus Christ. What are these people doing? The Democrat Party, let me say that again. The Dumbocrat Party Democrat, Dumbocrat, however you want to pronounce it, is so deranged with TDS, that's Trump derangement syndrome, they can't even get out of their own way. But Joe, they took the House back. They've got Trump in a corner. Well, how did they get there, folks? Which one of you bozos actually knows that? Come on, you motherfuckers. Let's see the emails. I bet there isn't going to be one coming. And I'm not going to read it either. Well, I'm going to tell you. Just because you fuckers can't email me fast enough. So this is what the Democrats did to take control of the House. Now I'm going to need you to listen here really closely. Their main strategy in taking back the House wasn't going into these rural congressional districts that bleed red, like all Americans do. They decided to go into the suburbs, into these swing districts outside of, we'll call them metropolises. Metropoli? Anyway. So the whole idea here is we're going to go after these moderate suburban congressional districts that swing red or blue depending on the fucking wind, essentially. I think I'm going to get rid of that one. Essentially, got to get taken out of the old vocab. So these people were basically a mixed bag of socioeconomic families with responsibilities. You know, parents with kids, parents not living off the government, parent with dual incomes, parents that have to drive their kids places, parents that have soccer practice, etc., etc., etc. These people were basically promised Trump's balls on a platter for the last 2 years, especially last fall. They said, hey, you vote me in, I'll have it on a nice silver platter here for you. Some were fed more moderate themes and talking points that would fall into the category as, we don't have an issue with that man, being Trump, but we will hold him accountable. So these people get elected to about 40, they get elected and take 40 of these seats away from the Republicans, thrusting them into the majority in the House. But do these newly elected moderate freshmen represent the high-tax ideas of AOC? Or the vulgar language from Rashida Tlaib, a Democrat out of Detroit area? How about the numerous anti-Semitic tropes, or whichever. Tropes. Ilhan Omar is barking out consistently. And then there's, of course, I think just today or yesterday it just came out that she was dumbing down 9/11. Oh, some event that happened. Jesus Christ. But it's okay. We don't have to worry about that. Our See You Next Tuesday Speaker of the House took her out of the Foreign Affairs Committee. Except that she didn't. But our next Tuesday special speaker took these moderates and placed them in committees to show her appreciation for her rise to power again. Nope. Not only has she turned her back on them, but this swing group has been protested at town halls by their own constituents because of what the Democrats are doing. Now, if getting booed at one of your own town halls isn't bad enough, what else is our special next Tuesday speaker doing? Well, she's denied them plum positions on committees and subcommittees. I mean, she basically gave a spot to the Foreign Affairs Committee to Ilhan Omar. She speaks very, very poorly about Jewish people, and she gets to keep her spot. And then if all that wasn't enough, when these group of Democrats got together and said, what did they wanted to do? They wanted to sign a resolution that basically condemned what Ilhan Omar said. But then when you got all the Democrats together, it was they basically took these 40 moderates who wanted to condemn her because they had to go back to these districts and say, yeah, look, we did something here. Nope, the Democrat Party basically forced them to sign a watered-down version of a resolution that was originally going to condemn her, but was changed back to a broad condemnation of hate, which is far from what it had started. Now, I'm not shitting on that. You know, hey, all hate is bad. But when you take something, let me put it this way. Let's say that dickhead you work with finally got in trouble, and the manager said, I'm going to write your ass up. And then, for some reason, when him and the rest of the management team gets together, instead of writing up that one dickhead, they just write all of you up. These moderate swing districts aren't like the districts AOC or Rashida Tlaib or Ilhan Omar won. These districts are swing districts with Republicans and Democrats who have responsibilities and aren't in the mood and getting into a shouting match with a Congress, attempting to take out the rich while propping up the poor. In fucking sanity. And this brings me to my last point here. This is where it's all going to come together, I promise. Because I'm telling you, people, this world is going to fucking hell. Why do all the rules that we have built in society go out the window in a gym locker room? The other day I'm at the gym, taking a piss. I don't bring my phone into the bathroom. It's a little gross. So it's in the locker room, but not in the bathroom. There's a ledge in the locker room that faces the mirror in the bathroom, so I can see it no matter if I'm washing my hands, if I'm peeking over my shoulder while I'm taking a piss, which you really can't do because that's just fucking weird if you make eye contact with someone. That's just a little hidden or inside knowledge for you ladies that never get to walk amongst us men for probably various reasons. Okay, I'm just going off on a weird tangent here. Back to the story at hand. So I can see my phone in the mirror no matter where what I'm doing in the bathroom. So I'm taking a piss at the urinal, and next to the urinal is a stall. And I'm just minding my own business, listening to some Bill Burr. Oh, jeez. And all of a sudden I hear this knocking sound. I can feel the reverberations coming off the wall. I'm thinking, was the guy in the stall need some toilet paper? I can't spare a square. I literally can't spare a square. I don't have a square to spare. Can't spare the square. So I'm a little annoyed because I'm taking a piss, and now somebody needs something from me. Literally, I'm almost done. This can't wait. So, trying to figure out what's going on, I pop out my earbud, and I want it to be known I'm a little annoyed. So I remove my headphones. I go, what? And they ask me, is that your phone on the ledge over there? Really, is that your phone over there, bro? I said, yes, it is. I said, oh, okay, because I was about to walk it up front to the front desk. I was like, thanks. Appreciate it. But it's mine. So here's my issue here. In this person's eye, does an accountable phone rise to the occasion of bothering someone while they're literally dick in hand, excuse me, mid-piss in a urinal? I don't think so, brother. Here's some motherfucking advice, cunt face. Fuck off people's phones. If you're so worried about it, go back to your workout. Do your chest, your arms. Do a little fly action. Do what you got to do. And if you got to go back to your locker, take a piss, and the phone's still sitting on the ledge, then you grab it and you take it to the front. Because all I'm hearing when you walk up to me and say, is that your phone, bro? Is, I want to steal your phone, but I don't want to look like an idiot if I take it because it could possibly be yours. Yeah. That's what's going on, pal. Okay, anyway, so let's get to the... Looks like we got some breaking news here. Well, not so breaking because this podcast plays once a week, but looks like our buddy Aaron Rodgers had a little article written about him from the Bleacher Report. And it was a long one. I'm not really going to go into the details of it. But basically what we're looking at here is Aaron Rodgers was basically the asshole. And as a Bears fan, you know, I probably really reveled in that in the same way a Republican would probably revel in what happened with the Star Report 20 years ago. Sorry if you're too young to understand that one. So, Aaron Rodgers is arguably the best quarterback in the NFL, and he's the face of that franchise, and a $30 million a year face of that franchise. And that report last Tuesday basically just kind of shed, some of the drama that was going on between him, Mike McCarthy, and the locker room. But here's what I got from it. He's a snowflake. He folds like a napkin. And he's so soft, Anthony Barr was quoted as saying, I thought I was tackling the Pillsbury Doughboy mascot when he broke his collarbone a few years ago. Apparently, it's made of bitter sugarcane, if you're wondering. Oh, wait, my bad. I read that wrong. It's not bitter, it's butter. 10-1 odds Green Bay gets too cute, has a soft defense, and goes 8-8. But they'll probably beat the Bears twice because when they play the Bears, it's a shit show for either team. Yeah, that's definitely the truth there. All right, I think it's time for this. Okay, more breaking news. Thanks, Klaus. So apparently Olivia Jade, as we reported here in the past, is extremely upset with her parents. Olivia was passionate about her career, and now everything she has built has imploded before her eyes, an insider told Us Weekly. She feels they've ruined everything. Oh my. So here we have someone who hasn't really lifted a finger her whole life. She's just been living off Daddy's money in Daddy's house, using Daddy's phone that he bought for her. And her parents try to give her a better life, albeit through the ways and means of the an illegal road traveled. But the parents ruined your life. Life's so fucking hard from your $1 million estate and mansion, huh? So what does she do? Cry into her $1,000 Egyptian cotton thread pillow? Who are we kidding? It was probably way more than that. I probably lowballed it. I mean, it's probably really ostrich feathers with some genetic engineered dinosaur feathers. But, Joe, it's super soft. Yeah, I bet. Like every person under 30 these days. Oh! All right, now it's time to get to... Jeez, Klaus, you're killing me with all this breaking news here. All right, so we got Ariana Grande won't label her sexuality despite rumors inspired by a new song. Okay, Ariana Grande has said she won't label her God, Joe, can you fucking read? I'm not that smart, but I cannot read. Yeah, see, I'm drawing a blank here. Ariana Grande has said she won't label her sexuality despite the rumors that were sparked by the release of her newest single, Monopoly, on Monday. Well, you gotta give it to this lady. Girl, woman, whatever she is. Does she even identify as a gender anymore? Who the fuck knows or cares? So she's figured out how to stay relevant. That's really all I took from this. I mean, go figure. What's next? She identifies as a tranny illegal from Honduras? What the fuck? You know, I really don't give a fuck. Hold on here. I got Klaus bringing in a message. Where is it? Thank you, Klaus. Whoops, I dropped it. Hold on, let me pick it up here. All right, let's see. What do we got here? What's it say? Klaus, why do you gotta fold this crap up? Come on. Okay. This is from my buddy Ken, who has sent this to Ready Set Podcast, our P.O. Box. Not sure how we timed this out so perfectly, but it says, please send all your emails in care of Ready Set Podcast to Joe Persinger. Okay, I see what happened there. All right, we're going to move on to our next segment here. We're going to do this. Motherfucker, are you kidding me? All right, last one here, I guess. Beyonce declines offer from Reebok because pitch team lacked diversity. Well, this is bullshit. I mean, what did Jordan Peele say the other week or two ago, that he wouldn't ever hire a white guy for one of his films because that's been done before? Well, Jordan Peele's a racist, and so is Beyonce. Are we going to pretend her old man wasn't an executive at a Fortune 500 company in Houston? The Reebok team doesn't reflect her values. And where does she come from? I can't speak to the former, but the latter, bish, you're a rich girl. Your daddy was rich. In fact, that bruh is so rich, he quit his job to manage your crappy band. So go fuck yourself. It's just that simple, Beyonce. Go fuck yourself. All right. Well, I'm giving up on the staff report because I'm afraid that... Okay, it didn't happen. So I'm actually interested on getting a woman's point of view on these last two articles here. So we're going to actually bring in my girlfriend, Nicole. You don't have a soundbite for her, Klaus? Okay, and we're here. Hi, Nicole.
Hi, everybody.
All right, so this is the first one we're going to jump into is a story about Ariana Grande. Whatever. Apparently, I'm just gonna, you know what? I can't fucking do this with the article. She basically said she won't label her sexuality despite the rumors that were released of her newest single, Monopoly. What do you think about this?
You want to talk about sexuality? Dang.
Well, I mean,
diving right in.
I just think it's interesting that she's going gender neutral right as one of her singles is being released.
I think it's more her age and not wanting to define things. That's what kids these days do, Joe.
So this probably has nothing to do with her trying to stay relevant.
I think that's a very cynical way of looking at it.
Oh, interesting. Well, I'm a cynical kind of guy.
I know.
So that's all you got there. This is going to be a very short segment at this rate.
I love Ari, so I don't want to talk shit about Ari.
All right, well then, how about we go over to Beyonce?
Oh, I don't like Beyonce.
Oh wait, no, this is a fun one. I didn't touch this one. Sorry for blowing everyone's ears out here. I didn't talk about this one. So Jeff Franklin, remember him?
No.
Fuller House guy. The guy who created. Well, Laura, he didn't create. He was a producer, but.
Okay, what did he do?
So he bought the house from that Fuller House. Remember when you watch Fuller House, how they have those like really cool angled shots of the girls waving by the door? They got that because he bought the house before they started Fuller House. So apparently, this isn't really what the article was about, but it did come up that he wanted to like redo the inside of the house to kind of make it look more similar to what the Full House looked like or whatever. Okay. And he got the permit for it, and he got this permit in San Francisco, which you know how I feel about that city.
I know.
So you know that's a lot of red tape to cut through. And then apparently, what happened was, I guess his neighbors figured out or heard what he was going to do because building permits probably went up, and they got some fancy lawyer to basically argue that they weren't notified in time or something like that. I mean, that might be not be entirely accurate, but that was kind of what the pretense of their defense was that, hey, you guys didn't notify us that you gave him the okay to do this. So the board's like, you know what, you're right. He shouldn't have the right to, do whatever he wants to his own home. This is more of a libertarian stance than Republican, if anyone's out there being like, oh, fuck this guy. But point is, they're like, no, you can't do that. So he's like, fuck this, I'm selling the house.
That's weird. Like, I don't understand what they were arguing. Like, because like they weren't like notifying time of construction. Like, so like their lives would be inconvenient. So this guy can't.
Well, there's like, well, people like to take pictures in front of the house too, and it's very disturbing. Which I kind of understand that part of it, but I don't see what the interior of the house has to do with that side of the argument. I mean, it's kind of like when you move next to a baseball field. It's like you know what you signed up for. It's like people that live next to Wrigley Field that complain about all the traffic on game days. It's like, well, dude, you saw that big ballpark structure when you moved into the neighborhood, right?
Yeah, and you also own a big, expensive piece of property you can sell and go somewhere else.
If you can't hear her, it's because she refuses to lean into the mic.
Is this better?
That's a lot better. I missed that statement because I was too busy making fun of you.
Story of our relationship.
Okay, so we're moving on then. Going back to kind of what we were talking about, where is it here? So Beyonce apparently declined an offer from Reebok because, hold on, that's my version of it. And it's probably a little skewed, to be honest with you. I'm looking for the article. Well, this is the Daily Wire, so any liberal will tell you it's already skewed as is, but it's not. This is as real as news as you're going to get these days. Where is it here? Okay. And it's also sourcing that stuff from ESPN. So there you go. She had a meeting at Reebok, and they had a whole presentation of everything. Potential products. How this could look. I can't read for shit. How this could all look, and she kind of took a step back and said, is this the team that would be working on my product? And somebody said, yes, ma'am. And she said, nobody in this room reflects my background, my skin, my color, and where I'm from, and what I want to do. And she kind of took a step back and left the room and did not come to terms. And then apparently she took a deal with Adidas.
Interesting.
Dude, so I'm curious. You're a Bay fan, aren't you?
Not really, but
you like your stuff and.
Not really.
Okay, well, anyway, you're clearly a fan. You're not in the camp that's not a fan.
I mean, I agree with her decision to not go with
Reebok. With what?
With Reebok, is that what it was?
Reebok was one offering her.
Yeah,
and she said, "Fuck you, I'm going with Adidas." Well, her background. What is her background? Oh shit! I'm not getting that didn't break.
I mean, as a person of color, I think it's important for her.
From Houston, Texas.
Well, still, still a person of color.
Whose dad worked at a Fortune 500 company.
Who's still a person of color. Who has the opportunity to
Oh, speaking of opportunities,
employ other people of color that might not have the same opportunity.
He also had the opportunity to quit his job to manage his daughter's band.
Well, yeah, because his daughter was mad talented. Is mad talented.
So here we have a woman claiming she's of color who's probably lived before she was.
She's of color.
Well, no.
She's of color.
Okay, you're right. But I meant claiming that these people don't represent her background. These are probably all, at best, middle-class people. I can guarantee you she's probably had more of a better upbringing than 80% of the people that were sitting in that room with her.
Yeah, but she's not... I doubt she's talking about her upbringing, literally. She's talking about the...
Of course, I got rid of the article.
Her upbringing as a black woman in America. And she's in a position to represent other black women in America that don't have the same opportunities.
That heavy breathing was Nubs, not me, just so you know. I mean, yeah, I can't argue with that. I just think everything these days is about social class and not race, and people want to make it about the latter when everything is really about the former. That's kind of where I take it.
I know.
It's more of a social economic argument than it really is about skin color, but people want to make it about skin color because apparently, like sex, it sells. What? It's true though.
I don't think it's so much that it sells, is that it's a hot topic.
Well, I mean, it sells clicks, and that's the only thing keeping the media alive these days.
I mean, your boy Trump's doing a good job keeping the media alive.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is a very independent podcast. I'm really glad it's not live because I'm beaming ear to ear right now. So this is actually I probably have to read the article for this one. We were talking about this earlier. It's kind of a nerdy baseball thing, but it's not too out of the realm. And I'm not talking about you, just people in general who's probably listening to this. Like, what are you talking about? I guess speaking of Trump, tax cuts 2.0 that were passed a few years ago.
Oh yeah.
So up to this point, if Bert wanted to trade me a microwave that was worth $50 and I had something that was worth $100, we can make that trade, no questions asked. Well, that has changed now. So basically, if you trade something, again, I'm not gonna go too crazy into detail here, but okay, we'll put it this way. So if I traded a $50 piece of equipment for a $100 piece of equipment, I realized a $50 gain. But I was not taxed. Same went for me trading a contract worth $5 million for one for $10 million. Trading players does not create a taxable event. But this changed with this new this tax law. So they're basically all these professional sports teams are kind of like, oh Jesus, to steal that from Bill Burr. Let's see. So what the IRS has done is they provided a safe harbor, allowing professional sports teams to treat a certain player and staff member contracts and draft picks as having zero value for determining a loss to be recognized on the trade player. Long story short, you're not getting taxed for trading assets that have contracts. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But really, that's just a guess about me and wanting to just get that into the story. You probably really don't give a crap about any of that.
No, sir.
But what was that server story issue you had earlier you were telling me about? That's kind of what I was going to segue to. Yeah.
There's a convention center across from the hotel I work at. And there's a fitness convention going on currently. And that's brought a lot of meatheads to the restaurant. I would say a lot of them need to keep their roid rage to themselves, if you know what I mean.
What happened?
Well, another server's table was frustrated that their hard-boiled eggs were taking 20 minutes to cook, which, understandable. But they did ask for a dozen hard-boiled eggs. Anyway, when I brought the hard-boiled eggs to him, trying to be helpful, he ripped them out of my hands, and being a large, muscled man, I did not appreciate that, and gave him a very stern look. And a very sarcastic thank you.
You should have told him to go fuck himself.
Well, I mean, if I didn't need a job, I would.
Yeah. Don't like the way you're looking at me right now.
I mean, this podcast takes off, I'm not going to be working much longer, you know?
Well, we'll see about that. YouTube's not a big fan of me. That's why I had to go. Like that's why your intro music was something I recorded live with two idiot friends. What was that? 2005. Yeah, right. All right. Well, I had a story, but I don't really feel like telling it because it's not as going to be as adventurous as that. And plus,
I feel like it wasn't too adventurous.
Well, we hit the 30-minute mark, so that's really.
You bring me in for the last 2 minutes.
Is that all it was? Felt like it was a lot longer than that.
Maybe 5.
Well, do you want to keep going?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't be.
We can always do next week's episode.
You don't
with
have
me.
any more Ariana Grande episode?
No, that was a week-old story, and there's really not much more going on.
Ooh, I do have some pop culture news.
All right, let's hear it. In
13 days, that would be April 26, 2019, T Swift, also known as Taylor Swift, might be releasing a new album. She just
nice.
released a countdown on Instagram.
So no one knows what this countdown is?
Well, we can kind of guess that it's a new album because she did this, similar actions, Instagram-wise, when she released her Reputation album, which was fantastic, full of smash singles. And, so in addition to changing her cover photo on her Instagram to a pastel-type light color scheme, she wrote, recently, she's turning 30 this year, she's 6 months younger than me, to the day. I don't know if you knew this.
I did not.
So she did, I think it's Elle Magazine, she did a 30 things I've learned in my 30 years, or something like that. And the 26th thing on that list was how she likes to make countdowns for things she's excited about. 26, as in April 26th. All right?
Sound
Don't
like a
lose
flat
me.
earther right now.
Don't lose me yet. I don't know if you know, but Taylor Swift's lucky number is also 13, like mine is also 13. Well, today is April 13th. In 13 days is April 26th. And her favorite thing is making lists on the 26th.
So that means she's releasing an album.
Yeah!
Okay.
Well, let's hope.
Fingers
crossed.
What if this is just like her way of staying relevant, like Grande? The girl.
I mean, she could be selling T-shirts at the end of this 13-day countdown. I'd still be excited. I'd still buy a T-shirt.
So that's kind of what the point is.
Well, yeah, it's working.
Oh, okay, well, you made that easy.
Well, I mean, I don't think I made it easy. I think she earned it.
I guess. I don't know.
She did. Don't talk about T Swift.
Steve's sister likes Taylor Swift.
Everybody likes Taylor Swift, Joe. Get with the times.
Her fans are like, aren't they almost like 30 now?
She's got fans of all types. Young and older. Gay and
tranny.
straight. Trans. All kinds.
How come you can't say tranny? What's wrong with tranny?
Because that's something in a car, not a person. Joseph.
But granny is okay.
Granny?
Yeah. Granny ran over by a reindeer. Doop, 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 doop.
I mean, if you want to talk about Christmas carols from the past, I wouldn't start on that.
Baby, it's cold outside.
Yeah, rapist culture.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
No, tranny's not okay, Joe. Unless you're talking about the transmission in my car that needs to be replaced.
No, I don't see anything wrong with the word tranny, regardless if you're referring to someone that thinks that something they aren't, or if it's the thing in your car that's about to blow up when you drive it more than 20 minutes. That's why I can never get down to Sarasota.
There's plenty wrong with it, Joe.
Yeah. All right. Well, that sounds like we should end the podcast on a note like that.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us. Hopefully, I'll be here next week.
Not if you keep it up.
Oh, geez. Well, hopefully we'll have enough time to get that episode with Kenny recorded soon.
I don't know about that, Ken.
All right. Well, Klaus, hit us with some music. I'll see you guys next week, and thanks for listening. See you later, you fucks. Thanks for listening to the Ready Set Podcast. Check us out next week, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter and look for us on our YouTube channel, Ready Set Podcast.